Hey, we got a hell of an opportunity in front of us, man. When you hit that field, I need everything you got.
Everything. If you want something in this league, you gotta go take it. Let's go take that today.
Let's go, man!
There's nothing telling you I was gonna do that. And the ball was in the air before I did it.
I'm so happy he's on my team.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Run it again! He can't go on me! Show me what champions do. That's championship swagger, boy! We got one more game, man.
We got one more, baby. We got one more, man.
Welcome, everyone, to the show That the Pros Watch. I'm James Brown. Glad to have you alongside with us for sure. And you know what? This is a football show, and I recognize that. And we've got the best in the business to break it down for all of the folks as we head towards Super Bowl week coming up on Sunday. But you know what? This has been a very challenging month in the world of sports, and more specifically in basketball. And I know all of you have got some personal friends in that regard. We think about Kobe Bryant, the passing of the legend's great at the age of 41. And I guess the repercussions from his passing are still being felt around the world. But we also think about the ex-NBA commissioner, David Stern, who passed away, and even my high school basketball coach, Morgan Wooten from DeMatha High School, who was the first boys basketball coach to coach exclusively at the high school level, who was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. And we'll devote a full segment to them coming up a little later in the program. But again, these co-hosts, they know the sport well, they're passionate about it, and they can set the stage for the upcoming Super Bowl. Why don't we start with you, Phil?
Really, I'd like to start with Brandon, because Brandon always has
Start
something.
with you. You always complaining about starting. Just start the
Wait,
show.
hold it.
Exactly
Hold it.
right.
Hold it.
Goodness,
Hold it. First off, why are you yelling?
Because, man.
Okay, I'll start.
You heard him say he's fired up for this show, right?
Well, what's new? Hey, I got all fired up this morning, Phil.
Keep your shoulders down when you talk like that.
He's been in the room when we were talking about the show. He's been yelling at me the whole time. What did I learn this past week? I learned a lot about both teams. You know what? I hate to say it because Ray's going to, agree with me here, but the football game is about physicality. And here we go. We got the San Francisco 49ers with a physical run game, and I'll just say this for the Kansas City Chiefs. If they're not violent up front, then they're in a lot of trouble, because that San Francisco run game, it's for real. The other thing I learned just looking at the Chiefs, Tyrann Mathieu, what a pickup they got in him. He was tremendous with the Cardinals.
Yep.
He got hurt.
Yep.
They got rid of him. He goes to Houston. He's out 100%. He goes to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid said he took over our locker room within the first week he was there.
Wow.
Now, when you watch him on film or watch him in person, you get it. His personality, his physicality, he can play the slot receiver, he plays safety, all those things. What a great pickup.
Everything, that was great.
all good.
That was great. I
Well,
appreciate
JB,
you.
I don't know if I learned
Hey, you know what?
anything.
It's so nice you have your voice back. Outstanding, Brandon.
Appreciate it.
Like a champ last week.
Are you done? And you look good today. You look good.
Oh, look, he came
Well,
back
look,
home.
I don't know if I learned anything. I think the Kobe Bryant situation was a reminder of how powerful sports is. So I'm excited to dive into that later. What I want to learn is, you guys been to multiple Super Bowls. How is this? What are these guys thinking about right now? The last 2 weeks for these guys, how has it been for them? What should they expect?
It's two teams on the plan, right? And there's a fact about this week. At the end of this week, somebody gonna cry, somebody gonna smile. Right. That's the irony of our game, right? And now the finest of all details is what you're tuning in. It's going back and study that one offensive line.
What was your greatest moment of your Super Bowls? What was your greatest moment?
Ooh.
Go ahead, both. I wanna hear from both
first
of you guys.
off, the Super Bowl week, Brandon, is the highest of the high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You
Yeah.
are really floating. Practices are great and all that, but the greatest moment, winning, but standing in the tunnel, looking out and seeing the field going, it's just what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
The feeling and everything. It was great.
2000, I had Hank Aaron, I had Spike Lee, I had Jim Brown all come out to our practice. And I sat there and witnessed those legends, and I said, is this game really that big, right? And I didn't know how big it was. I was 25 years old, right? But the moment, I tell you, the greatest moment of my life, that Super Bowl, was when I looked in Rod Wilson's eyes. And I said, Paco, I'll break my back to bring this ring home for you.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, man, like, that's why every time confetti drops, I lose my mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know exactly what somebody's
Okay,
going through.
last question for Phil. What was more special, your wedding or winning the Super Bowl?
Why would you
I'm putting him on the
Don't
spot.
put that pressure on my boy.
exactly.
The wedding. I don't even have to answer that question. Call my wife. She go, the Super Bowl. She knows.
That was a good comeback. I was nervous for him, but he handled that one.
Yeah.
He handled that one.
We're not letting you go first anymore, though. But keep
The
going, Jay.
climax of the NFL's 100th season features a classic Super Bowl 54 matchup. The magical Patrick Mahomes, who we've all been screaming about, and that explosive offense against the fast, tough, relentless, hard-hitting San Francisco 49ers D-Ray. Here's Phil, the Super Bowl 21 MVP, on what to look for when Kansas City has the ball.
Now here comes the gold rush. Here's Cousins stepping around Bosa. Bosa will get him from the backside.
You talk about a tidal wave rush?
They're going to screen it out to Aaron Jones. Beautifully played. Here comes the fearsome Bosa, and they nail Cousins.
That's outrageous. That's not even fair.
Here's a play from the divisional round against Minnesota. Keep an eye on end Nick Bosa and linebackers Quan Alexander and Dre Greenlaw. The Vikings run a toss to Dalvin Cook. It looks like he'll be able to cut it up inside for a nice gain, but Bosa, Greenlaw, and Alexander come flying in to make the stop.
He gets hammered by Nick Bosa. He came down the right end and tattooed Dalvin Cook.
Here's another example of the Niners' speed on defense. The Vikings run a little tight end screen underneath. They get a couple of lead blockers out in front. Looks like it's going to be a big play for Minnesota, but Greenlaw is able to withstand the cut block of Brian O'Neill, and he recovers in time to make the tackle. Alexander comes all the way from the far hash to assist on the stop.
Bro, they don't want it. They don't want it.
On this play, the Vikings are looking to take a shot on the outside and down the field. Stephon Diggs runs a double move against corner Richard Sherman. Sherman bites on the fake, but before Kirk Cousins can release the ball, end Eric Armstead takes him down for a sack. Because of the speed up front, it's tough to hold the football long enough in pass protection to hit big plays with slow developing routes. The best way to have success against San Francisco's defense is to get the football out quickly.
The fourth 49ers sack.
The 49ers are going to need every bit of their speed and a good game plan to contend with the athleticism and creativity of Patrick Mahomes.
Maybe the best play yet of Patrick Mahomes' incredible young career.
That's championship swagger, boy. That's what I like, boy.
On this play from the AFC Championship game, Mahomes drops back, and on his initial read, all four receivers down the field are covered. But Mahomes doesn't panic. What does he do like he does all the time? He extends the play with his legs, buys time for Tyreek Hill. That he sees Mahomes moving, he gets and breaks to his right. Mahomes delivers the ball right on target for a first down. That's a tough throw to make, and he makes it look easy. Mahomes is one of the best, if not the best, at making plays with his arm outside the pocket.
They're playing school ball. It's just like you go out and you cut left at the swing set, and then you fake right at the slide, and I'm going to get you.
Mahomes can also beat you from the pocket. As this play develops, Mahomes sees the Titans are double-teaming Mecole Hardman down the middle of the field, leaving Tyreek Hill matched up one-on-one against corner Logan Ryan. Mahomes knows that's where the ball has to go. From the end zone angle, you can see Mahomes doing a great job of keeping his eyes down the middle of the field to make it seem like he's going to go to Hardman. Then at the last second, he turns his attention to Hill, down the seam, and fires a pinpoint pass for the touchdown. Mahomes, as we've seen, can beat you in the pocket, out of the pocket. He's a nightmare to prepare for.
You're bad. You're bad. You're a monster.
I got your back.
Wow, superb work by our quarterback, Phil Simms there. But for the fans at home, give them something coming off of that to look for in Super Bowl 54.
I didn't know you were that smart.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Brandon.
Like
Don't feel like that now. It feels very smart.
Man, okay. I'm telling you. What is this? Whip my butt day? We just started the show.
You used to it. Let's go.
Yeah, I am. First off, I would say this. You dare the other team a lot of times.
Yeah.
So you're the San Francisco defense with all that speed.
Yeah.
Dare what? Dare Kansas City to run the ball. In other words, back off, make them throw it short if you want, but give them the run plays, play more defenders back to stop the pass and the speed, and see if Kansas City can run it. I say they don't have the patience. They won't, and that'll be a big advantage for San Francisco.
And that's the tough part. They don't have the patience, but they should be able to run the ball. That's their weak spot. When you got these defensive ends with their ears peeled back and looking for those
screaming
sacks,
up the field.
And you got to run the ball. If I'm Andy Reid, I know it's hard. It's not in his DNA, but you have to run the ball.
You're talking about but listen, Kansas City, this may be the 4x1 track team, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We just never seen speed at every position, right? And so now you have to ask yourself a question. If you're San Fran defense, because KC's offense is going to give you everything, have they been tested on the back end?
Yeah.
Can they stay in that cover 3?
Of course they're not tested. Phil talked about it. When you beat them, Bosa
Quarterback sacked.
and Eric is sacking them.
If you got somebody who's staying in the pocket, we're talking about Pat Mahomes, right? We're talking about arguably the best young quarterback in the game. I'm just saying if you
Lamar's not the
one of the best young quarterbacks in the game. Stay with me.
Stay with me. I said it right.
No, but I'm telling you, I want you guys to really understand what this matchup is all about, right? That's why the front seven, right? You go back all the way back to Denver Broncos when they played Von Miller, right? Beat the brakes off of Michael Orr on that left. So somebody's going to have to find a way to block Bosa. Because if they don't block Bosa, it's going to be
So hold on. Bill Cowher did an excellent interview with Andy Reid, and he said that he slid a note to him saying, hey, Andy, run the ball more. Can they do it if they establish that as well?
Look, no, he's not going to. They're not going to do that. That's not who Andy Reid is. He might run it some, but they're going to throw the football. Yeah. And what they're going to do in this game is you see that. That's why I think Ray is right. If the 49ers play the safety in the middle and just play one-on-one outside, that's going to be tough. I think they can change what they do, But the other thing to watch for, this pass rush will get to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So what do? They have to help out their tackles a little bit in the game, which something the Kansas City Chiefs don't do. Keep the running back in to help, the right tackle against Nick Bosa. That'll be important, and you might have to help out the left tackle also, because that pass rush is good across the board, and they got reserves that can rush.
But if you watch San Francisco all year, defensively, right? They're fast. We just saw them. They're running everywhere. The one problem that they have is stopping downhill football.
That's right.
Where it's going north and south. Nothing is going east and west. When you go downhill at them...
What are you saying that's not happening?
Because their linebackers aren't 230.
Is that Kansas City?
It's old school football.
We talked about this mid-season on the show. We talked about they were one of the worst teams against the run.
Downhill.
Teams averaging 5 yards a carry against this team. Now, granted, they were able to fix it and change some things, but those problems still exist.
Well, they got 3 guys back. You got to remember, D. Ford missed a lot of the season. Jaquaski Tart, their safety, is a good tackler. So everybody back in there, they've got it coordinated. So that's going to be really interesting. But, again, how they play and what they do on the defensive side, I think, is going to determine a lot what Kansas City does.
Wherever Richard Sherman is, watch how they design whatever route. If they stay in that cover 3, whatever route, you're going to get 10 hitches the entire day. And Tyreek Hill makes one man miss, and then you're out the gate. I'm telling you, you can't play that style of defense against.
Okay, but you've seen the Twitter war, if you will, between Terrell and Rich Sherman. Does that have any credence in your mind at all?
Look, I always say this: if you're on the field, keep doing it. If you off it, if you ain't do it, that's your fault, right? The bottom line is that man is in another Super Bowl, right?
So bottom line, he is not a liability.
His leadership overrides all of that, right? A lot of times people say, oh, you're losing a step. Okay, I may have lost a step in my last few years, but guess what? I guarantee you the people that I empowered, we got it done.
That is well said. The last thing is, one team had great success against this Kansas City passing offense, and that was the Los Angeles Chargers.
That's right.
And they played the exact same defense that the San Francisco 49ers play. So I know Kansas City has studied it hard and everything like that. What they did, they basically said, oh, we're going to play that coverage, but we're just going to back off. And they just said, we'll let you throw it short. But the speed will allow them to come up and make the tackles. Can the Chiefs be patient enough to, 5 and 6 yard it down the field? That'll be important to watch.
By the way, loved your comment. If you're on the sidelines, you're not there.
That's a good point.
We head back to the tape room with our Super Bowl MVPs. This time we turn to the Super Bowl 35 MVP, who we just heard from.
Sugar.
That would be, what's your name?
Sugar.
Ray Lewis, on what to look for when the Niners have the ball.
Sugar. Shake them up, Sugar.
Man, come on to the film. You know what?
Sugar.
Nobody loves Ray more
than Ray.
Sugar.
Defense has traditionally been the Chiefs' downfall. Last year in the AFC Championship game, when they absolutely needed a stop, they couldn't get one.
Throws down the middle, Edelman open in midfield, makes the catch. 3rd and 10. In the pocket, throws down the middle. Gronk makes the catch at the 20. They give to Burkett, runs it left. Touchdown, Patriots!
This year, Kansas City's run defense finished the regular season ranked 26th in the NFL.
Trying to take advantage of the weakness of the Chiefs' defense, and that's the ground game.
And Andy Reid was looking for answers. And in the playoffs, he might have found it. In the AFC Championship game against the Tennessee Titans, they held the NFL rushing champion Derrick Henry to just 69 yards on 19 carries. On only 4 of those carries did he gain more than 4 yards. How did Kansas City do it? Oftentimes, it was with 8 men in the box.
This defense has improved dramatically.
In the NFC Championship game, the 49ers' run game and zone blocking scheme dominated the Packers.
Deebo was the jet sweeper, and he just led him around the edge.
He gets just enough on Savage, and then Raheem Mostert, forget about it. When he puts his foot on the gas pedal, he will not be denied.
George Kittle is the best tight end in the league, folks. Why? Because he's one of the best blocking tight ends in the history of the game.
He almost took B.J. Goodson out of bounds.
Yeah.
He's got 0 targets in the game as George Kittle. He is dominating the line of scrimmage as a run blocker.
Raheem Mostert, the reserve running back, who had been cut by 6 NFL teams, ran for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. The 49ers can run outside or inside. And on some of these runs, Mostert wasn't even touched.
You don't see holes that big in this league. Whenever you watch the 49ers, you see several of those each and every week.
The 49ers only threw 8 passes against Green Bay, but they certainly can throw the ball, especially once they have established the run. If the defense employs 8 men in the box, it means San Fran's receivers are drawing single coverage, and most of the time, they are getting into open space. Jimmy Garoppolo is very good at play action and finding the open receiver.
Make the gun run to Breida. Throws left, wide open, Richie James Jr.'s got it.
Many of his completions are right down the hash.
You are not going to tackle Deebo Samuel with one arm.
And he's been able to keep his balance. He may have gone the whole way.
In his first year as the Chiefs defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo has improved the Chiefs' pass defense from 31st last year to 8th this year. But against San Francisco, there's no magical scheme that will do the trick. It's going to be about individual effort.
Frank Clark, like a shark, just swimming around and around, missing his prey twice, not the 3rd time.
The front 7 will have to play as well as they've played all season.
You know, I know. Ooh, sugar. Sugar Lewis, the professor. Fine tutorial. And it brings us to an intriguing element of Super Bowl 54. That is the potential effectiveness of the Niners' offense against the Chiefs' defense.
You know, the best thing that he said, and it just hit home right away, the Kansas City Chiefs crowd that line of scrimmage and say, you're going to have to throw it to beat us. Okay, can you do that? Of course, everybody's crowded the line of scrimmage against San Francisco. A lot of times it hasn't worked. But my other point is San Francisco, of course, is going to know that. So Kyle Shanahan's going to have an offensive game plan. He's going to get Jimmy Garoppolo involved early and quick, and they'll come out. I think they'll come out and be throwing the football to get that Kansas City defense off balance.
Why would they do that? Why would they come out and just throw the ball?
That's what coaching is. Do something they don't expect.
You know, I agree with you somewhat, but the running game versus the Kansas City Chiefs, it's worked all year. Here's what I would say. I am excited to watch Coach Shanahan dial it up this week, right? Because what makes their offense special is the run game. 2 weeks ago, Garoppolo threw it 8 times.
8 times. Right.
That's not their style. Their style is balance. What makes their offense special is what they do off of the run. They didn't have to dial it up and go to the keeper game, the play action game, the boots. They didn't have to do that. This team has to crowd the line, like you said, but what comes off of this can be really special.
That's it.
But you got to run the ball. Don't get away from it. Don't say you're going to come out and just throw it around.
Catch them off guard. Do it early because they're going to be trying to stop the run.
Look, we talked about this guy earlier. I'm telling you, I think he's one of the biggest pieces to this game. That's Tyrann Mathieu, right? Because what he can do on the back end from a communication standpoint, right? He has to keep those guys not only understanding when play action is coming, but understanding where the ball is coming. One of the things that you saw on that piece was a lot of Garoppolo passes are always down the hash. Why? Phil will tell you, your safest throw against a quarterback it's in the middle. It's in the middle of the field. So most of the time when you see that run, that fake play, they always go in the middle, right there. But where Mathieu becomes so crucial in this is he's like a roamer, right? He's just always moving around. This me.
He's the key. But the problem is he has to be in the box.
Yes, truly.
And you know how difficult it is if that running game is going. You got George Kittle. You got Deebo Samuel, who could be running free. Now, they're not throwing the ball. They are throwing the ball in the middle. They are throwing the ball down the hash. But Garoppolo and his offense, they don't stretch the field. This offense is dink and dunk.
Which is what makes him so good.
So if they're dink and dunk, let me ask you this then. We've seen what Mahomes and company can do with that gold medal winning track team being behind. So is it very important for San Francisco to get out ahead early on them?
The bottom line is this. If you're taking Garoppolo or Pat Mahomes, if you're taking Pat Mahomes for 7 and Garoppolo come down and get 3. Because I guarantee Kansas City Chiefs getting 7s most of the times, right? And so and that's what you got to deal with, right? Yeah. Because San Fran, if their defense is what they supposed to be, then they got to go shut down properly.
This game is going to come down to who you said, Tyrann Mathieu, and also George Kittle, right? We've been praising George Kittle for the last couple of weeks, how unselfish he is. He's blocking, he's blocking. But what makes him special and his offense special is now what he does when he slams down on the defense end and then he comes out on the bootleg, right? That's going to be interesting to watch. I can't wait to see Coach dial it up.
Yeah, he's going to dial it up. Listen, Kyle Shanahan is going to be, he's famous. They move offensive personnel more than anybody in the NFL. And what they do, they're just trying to make you think on defense to what? Slow you down. So you kind of answered the question. You said, well, why go away from the run if you're so good at it? Because that's what they're expecting. So you do all the play actions early to settle them down and then take advantage of it, of that side. But here's my other thing is, you said it too, they throw it down the middle. So why not play the corners for the Chiefs, who are playing well? Ward and Breeland both playing well. You got Tyrann Mathieu in the slot sometimes, but they're playing well. Let them play one-on-one outside because they don't throw it outside the hashes very often.
I got a prediction.
They don't.
Go.
First play of the game will be a keeper game.
I believe it too.
It'll be keeper. It'll be stretch right, boot left.
Yep. Throw it in the flat, throw it back across.
And that's exactly where he's going. He's going to George. I ain't telling you. I ain't telling you.
Ray, nice tease because, in fact, all of you all are going to be picking a winner at the end of the show.
Yes.
There's no question about it.
Well, me and Brandon is picking for something. Phil just
he's Mr. Irrelevant. Real quickly as a tease, what does that mean?
What I just mean, me and Brandon is tied for first place.
That's Mr. Irrelevant right there.
He's Mr. Irrelevant.
You know, he just couldn't wait to say it.
The last person in the draft.
Say it. Is Ray guaranteed next year to be on the show?
Yes.
Have you signed a contract?
Brandon has been saying this all season long. The most important position on the field is what?
The coach.
Wide receivers, baby.
Brandon
receivers.
says it's the wide receiver. So we're sending Brandon to the tape room as well. Here's Brandon's take on the possible X factors to look for in Super Bowl 54.
Finally.
Wow.
Finally, I get to hit the film
Here
room.
we go.
Finally.
He get his voice
We
back.
had to
Now
lead
it's
you to
finally.
it. You didn't know where it was.
If there's one thing you should know about the Super Bowl, is that anything can happen. Some of the most unlikely players have made legendary plays. Here are my X factors, who will make a major impact on Super Bowl Sunday. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball with the San Francisco 49ers. Eric Armstead, 10 sacks racked up in the regular season. But what makes this kid special is his ability to play anywhere on the defensive line. This is a coach's dream. George Kittle, I know you guys are looking at it saying, man, this is a likely guy. But I'm telling you, we've been talking about him for the last couple of weeks and his ability to be selfless and how he's been blocking his butt off. What makes the San Francisco 49ers pass attack special is their ability to play action. I expect players like George Kittle to run free throughout this Super Bowl. Now let's look at my X factors for the Kansas City Chiefs. Damian Williams. He found his way in Andy Reid's offense. He's a beast when he carries it, and he also makes plays when he catches it. He has 4 touchdowns in the postseason. I expect him to add to that in the Super Bowl. Frank Clark. This kid took his game to a whole nother level in the postseason, sacking Deshaun Watson 3 times and closing out the game against Ryan Tannehill. This is Brandon Marshall, a.k.a. The Expert, and those are my X factors for Super Bowl 54.
I'm sorry.
The expert?
The expert?
Are you serious?
Brandon,
You see how I break down
it's
film?
therapy for that. Like, people
Hey, you
get
guys
help
gotta
for that
stop
stuff.
this.
No, you got to stop this, B. You can't
No,
cry
you know
on
what?
yourself.
It was really good. That was a
Do
good
you
piece.
really
That
agree
was.
with his assessment?
Well, listen,
No, it was good. It was
Yeah,
good.
it was good.
It was good.
The great thing about this game is we could name 20 X factors going in that game. And I like your take on who'd you say? George Kittle?
You know what? No, let me be more specific.
Right.
I like Eric Armstead.
Right.
Go back to the 86 Super Bowl when you were in it, even 90, right?
Right.
Whew. You got Lawrence Taylor. But if you turn on film, who was the man that game?
Yes.
Carl Banks.
Yes.
Right? So we got Nick Bosa on one side, and then who's on the other side?
D Ford is out there, so that leaves Eric Armstead inside.
He can
And
play
that's-
anywhere.
Yeah, they
He
got
can play anywhere.
they got
So many
guys
X factors.
inside and outside, no question.
Yeah, I tell you, listen, Super Bowl 50. Super Bowl 50, I said these words. I said, if they don't find an answer for Von Miller,
You say a lot of words.
he's going to be the MVP. Von Miller's the MVP. I'm going to say it again this time. Super Bowl 54. If they don't find an answer for Nick Bosa, he's going to be the Super Bowl
All right, well,
you have to find a guy.
They say find an answer for him. Who do you like? Any side of the ball.
This is where I think you spoke about him earlier. The way San Fran is going to have to play against Kansas City, Damian Williams may be the biggest key factor in this game. Kansas City is going to figure out. It may not be running it like Phil's talking about. They got to run the ball. They got to run the ball. It's the dumps. And then he turns it into 12, 15, 17 yards.
So that plays right into me. So everything you're saying, I think that zone, if they play and they back up, it's Travis Kelce. That's who got rewarded once everybody started playing the Kansas City Chiefs a certain way after they saw the Chargers do it.
Yeah.
You know, he can catch a 4, 5, 6 yard pass and turn it into make it a big play. Just another guy who can disrupt San Francisco's run game we haven't talked about. He is a great inside defender that never gets the credit like Aaron Donald. He's not Aaron Donald, but it's Chris Jones.
Yeah.
How do you kill a running game? Penetrate. Somebody get in there, and that's what he is. He's a big, mobile guy, and I got a chance to watch him in the championship game. Stood on the sideline, looked at him, and said, man, first off, he's huge, but he's so much more limber and quicker and more athletic than I expected when I saw him in person.
Ray continued to talk about everybody being on the same page and the little things counting going into the big game. What about you in 86? You said there are some extraneous factors that go into this equation.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Well, okay, I'll tell the story real quick. We're on the bus getting ready to go to practice. So all the guys come in, everybody's in a good mood. It's still early in the morning. And then I think it was Lawrence Taylor came in and started talking about what they did the night before and some of his friends. And all of a sudden I realized half our team was with him in some nightclub or whatever. And they're going, and it's funny. I mean, I'm laughing going, then I go, hell, we're going to lose. And then Lawrence, that's true, he goes, relax.
You got it?
Denver's partying harder than we are. I said, okay. And honestly, it made me feel better. I'm anxious to watch Richard Sherman, Ray, to see how many times does he get singled up and how he does. He's a very smart player.
Be careful with him.
But so that's
He'll
right.
jump a route.
He'll jump an inside route.
He'll jump a route. I'm telling you, he has the ability, because he's been in this game, to go and find that one piece.
Yeah, he's going to wait.
And he will change the entire game.
Yeah, I love his mentality. He was asked in opening night, like, where's your Super Bowl ring? He said, I don't play for the Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
I love it. That's the mentality.
From Super Bowl X Factors, we turn to one of the big storylines of the upcoming season, free agent quarterbacks. And our friends at NFL Films have more on what promises to be a compelling quarterback marketplace.
Brandon said he's just glad that Ray didn't address it in a dark closet today. So I don't know what he's talking about.
With the end of the season approaching, the top QBs are hungry for new deals, and not these kinds of deals.
Spicy nugget for back. I might have to stop on the way home.
The 6-time Super Bowl champ tops the list of free agents. Legends like Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers will try to write their book's final chapter. While the stories of this season's young breakout talent might have just begun. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds for these stars.
So it could well be stated, let the quarterback frenzy begin. But let's take a look at the available / free agent quarterbacks. Look at the list here.
Tom
Pretty
Brady, Drew
impressive
Brees.
names.
Wow.
But I'd be interested to get you guys. Let me get your thoughts. What do you think about that list? Phil, let's start with you.
I think my first question I asked him, I look at the first name, Tom Brady. I just can't imagine Tom Brady playing in another uniform, readjusting to more teammates, a new offense, coaches and everything like that. If he's going to play, he's got to find a way to work it out.
I said that when I was younger, and I never thought Joe Montana would ever leave the San Francisco 49ers. But he ended up doing it. But that's the one thing. With Tom Brady, I'm like, God, does Tom want to go through all of that? And
that's a lot to go through. It is.
It is a lot to go through, but what makes Tom great? I wouldn't call it ego. Maybe it's just maybe we just live on the side of just big chip on his shoulder.
Okay.
He has something to prove still.
Okay.
What is he has to prove? Tell me.
I'm underpaid. I'm undervalued, underappreciated. He wants to go prove it.
Okay.
Somewhere else.
What better way to add to your legend than go to another team and get it done there?
Somewhere else?
Tom Brady truly believes he can still play.
Okay.
I know all these experts are talking about, oh, Tom is done, Tom's done. Tom doesn't believe that.
That's exactly right. Well, what's the best fit do you think then would be for Tom Brady?
It's a great question. Man, this man be selling wolf
he's selling wolf outside of New England.
No, I mean, I truly believe he needs to stay in New England.
Agreed. But if
they need to help him. Oh, man, there's some good spots. You keep hearing about San Diego. You got Indianapolis coach, which I don't like because I like Jacoby Brissett. Like, give this man a healthy team and see what he does. But that could be a good fit for him if the Indianapolis Colts, if they don't appreciate Jacoby Brissett.
Well, so that's good. So let's go to Drew Brees.
Look, Tom, what
happens with Drew Brees?
Last thing is, if Tom Brady goes somewhere and it doesn't work, what does that do? So you got to think of that too.
Right.
Don't think of the top side.
Nothing with it. He doesn't have something to prove.
Drew Brees.
What do you think?
If I had to guess right now, I have no inside information or anything like that. I think Drew Brees will retire. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been an unbelievable career. All the numbers, his success and everything he's done. He's healthy. He's got young kids. You said something to him right before we came on.
Yeah.
He was at the Pro Bowl, had all of his family
Whole
there and
family
everything.
there, yeah.
I took that as a sign a little bit.
If you can't get it done the last 2 years with the regular season that you guys had and this team, then it may be time to move on.
And the other big name is Phillip Rivers. They know he's going to move on now.
Yeah.
I think, just my guess, don't know anything, I say he ends up in Indianapolis.
We're talking about all these old guys. If you are an executive, which guy do you go after to build your team around the next 5, 10 years? That entire list, because we got some names on there. I think Cam Newton still have years left.
Fuck yeah,
you got Dak, who's not going anywhere. You got Teddy.
That's a great question.
You got, I mean,
where does Cam go?
Ooh.
Give me a good fit for Cam.
I would say this, for me, the Los Angeles Chargers. Anthony Lynn. What was Anthony Lynn in the pros? He was a running back.
Running back, right.
He wants it so he could build his offense around more of a run game with Cam Newton and everything, and not rely just strictly on throwing the football, because they got their defense rolling out there in Los Angeles. The Chargers do. They played really well at the end of the year, so he wants to settle it down. Ex-running backs love the running game and not focus all on the quarterback.
Obviously, teams will be looking at the draft to see how good a quarterback crop this is. Phil, walk us through the available.
Well, I think Joe Burrow's going to be the first pick of the draft, probably, maybe. You know, Justin Herbert's a good player. We know Tua. We saw him, and he can flat throw it. He's one of the most accurate throwers I've ever watched in college football.
So you're an executive. Who are you taking?
The safest pick is Joe Burrow. But the guy that Justin Herbert for Oregon intrigues me maybe even more because of his size, the power of his arm. He can run for, all those things. So that's going to be
best quarterback coming out in this draft is Tua.
Ray, so on that point,
Russell Wilson.
Ray, if you were the executive, because there was a time that he was unquestionably at least thought to be the guy. Is the injury a concern?
Nah, you know what, JB? Years ago, you could say, man, this guy has this bad injury. But technology is fast now. These kids heal fast, and there's so many things around to get him back. And look, he's optimistic about being back ready to next season start.
So you take a chance?
Yeah, I'm taking a chance on Tua.
You know, it's going to be interesting because it's another good crop, solid crop. There's going to be some starters on that list we show of college guys coming out, and they're coming out every year. There's no doubt. But all those free agents, what we're going to have out of this free agent class, a lot of teams are going to get some really good backups. You look at Marcus Mariota,
Teddy Bridgewater.
Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater, whatever.
Bridgewater backup?
No, I'm just saying, he's played the backup role.
When you think you have a Super Bowl team, you got to make sure you have a quarterback, if your starter gets hurt, that your team is not hurt and you can still carry on, and that list is going to provide that for a lot of teams.
So for those teams that are looking for a new quarterback, if you will, and actually it's a little puzzling to me why Teddy Bridgewater isn't the odds-on favorite to step up and take over, period. But it seems like...
Well, maybe he might be in New Orleans. He's a free agent.
So if you're looking at free, go ahead.
Yeah, so he knows the system. They know him well. We'll find out what they really think of him. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Teddy Bridgewater.
Man, I would continue to milk Drew Brees for all he's worth. I listen to what you guys talk about. Drew Brees, he is a great athlete, as Phil said, but he's efficient as all get out. What's wrong with efficiency?
Hey, nothing.
Oh, wow. Hey, folks, we change gears here just a bit because we know that in sports there are stars, and, of course, then there are superstars. But there are precious few icons that transcend the field of play. And these guys were talking about a transcendent athlete. Well, on Sunday, we tragically lost one such icon. 5-time NBA champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, that is Kobe Bryant, just 41 years of age. And his untimely, unimaginable passing has brought about tears and tributes from around the world, including from a stunned NFL community.
I think it's affected everyone in California a ton, everyone in the country, everyone in the world.
Kobe was the reason I played sports. He's an icon. He was a hero of mine. And the world's not a better place without him.
I still watch videos on YouTube day before games and just listen to him talk and how he puts everything in perspective of being great on and off the field. He made a huge impact in my life for sure.
He was a friend of mine. He was a mentor. There's nothing that I can say to really qualify his impact on myself and on others.
Few athletes played their sport at the level of Kobe Bryant, and even fewer could match his competitive fire.
If you want to make history, you have to do historic things.
That rare combination won him NBA titles, Olympic gold medals, and numerous awards. And he was an inspiration to NFL players across the country.
He inspired so many people in so many different ways. I mean, one of the great competitors of any generation.
We're going to do 2 steps, and then we're going to do the fadeaway for him. And I just hope that touched a lot of people in a special way.
Born in Philadelphia, Kobe was a lifelong Eagles fan.
Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory.
He never hid his passion. Yes! And it was reciprocated. When news of his passing broke in Orlando at the Pro Bowl on Sunday, fans responded in this spontaneous tribute. More than a Lakers legend, he was an international superstar.
I wonder if you mind signing an autograph. Oh, sure.
Revered from Beijing to Bologna and far beyond. He had 2 numbers retired and was known by just 1 name. But Kobe's impact was immeasurable and will continue to be felt for many, many years to come. We use the word transcendent going into this tribute to Kobe, and indeed he did just that across all the sports spectrum for sure. And Ray, you had a very special relationship with him as well. How did that come about?
Wow, yeah, this is it's a tough one for me. Yeah, he was a brother, you know, and we had something in common, right? We came in the league together. He came in 1996. I came in 1996. Tiger Woods came in 1996. And the first day we met, I never forget it. The first day we met, man, we looked at each other and we knew that we both had something similar of what we can't do and yes, you can do it. And Brandon, we spoke about this earlier, man, like 2010, I played this Guitar Hero with him, and I'm in LA, and that's what the picture was, right? And he's like, come on, man, you gotta play. I was like, Cope, I know you're gonna cheat. We in LA. They gotta let you win in LA. They're not gonna let me win.
This was a competition?
Yeah, it was a competition, the Guitar Hero, so I'm picking the guitar. The next thing you know, it comes up, I'm like, no way. I'm like, and then, man, but I'm telling you, like Cole, what this done for me, losing my brother, you know, it feels the same way when I lost my college roommate, when I lost Steve McNair, when I lost Sean Taylor. Like, legends don't die. Legends live forever. Kobe Bryant was great as a basketball player, but Kobe Bryant was marvelous as a man. He was this giant. But what I learned from this, JB, is life is about time spent. That's all, the greatest equity that we can ever buy in today's time is time spent.
You think about that statement, just time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Kobe's gone, but he'll be here forever.
Yeah.
I was in Calabasas when this happened, and I was training a young kid, wide receiver Gabe Davis, and a staff member walks in, Gabe Davis, wide receiver from UCF going into the NFL draft. Staff member walks in and he says, Kobe just died. He starts telling us the story and the world stopped. And I was like, man, how are we going to move forward? How can I train this kid? This kid's looking up to me like, man, help me get to the NFL draft, get through the NFL draft. We get out to the field and I turn around, there's the mountain right there. And I look at him and I said, you know what? Mamba mentality. And that's what's going to live forever.
Yeah.
Because all professional athletes, we can pull from that. I looked at this kid and I said, this is the Mamba mentality. This is what Kobe Bryant was, right? You can always pull from that because he was catching the ball and he wasn't finishing 10, 15 yards up the field. And I was telling him there's going to be NFL executives, there's going to be head coaches watching you. And if Kobe was here right now, he would tell you that you approach practice and game the same, and sport and life is the same. And you gotta understand that. And I was looking around, there were soccer players, lacrosse players, a kid working on his punting. And I'm like, man, if all of these kids can pull from that, they will have a chance. So when you talk about time, I just think about Mamba mentality being timeless.
Yeah, you know, listen, of course I followed his career. I'm a sports fan, love basketball, I love all the sports. But what I admired about Kobe Bryant, and this I think we all understand this, when he played, he had singleness of purpose. That was it. He was going to put all of his energy and everything into being the greatest basketball player that he could be. And I think he showed that during his career. You know, the tenacity, he never let up. If I can notice it just from afar, then anybody close to him had to know, and it affected so many people. That's why you see the NFL and all athletes paying such tribute to him, because they know what he went through and the price he paid, and it was great, and he turned into a terrific human being.
You talked about the change you saw in him.
Yeah.
He came into the league as a 17-year-old.
Yes.
Everybody grew up with him on a major public stage. And even with the challenges and flaws that every last one of us have, he worked through that with the same Mamba mentality that Brandon just mentioned. Coming home from Denver after a game where he had a poor shooting night, he went right to the gym, worked all night, trying out for the U.S., being selected for the U.S. Olympic team. 4 a.m. in the morning, he calls the trainer, say, come work me out. He told the trainer to go home at 8 a.m. to get some rest. When the trainer came back at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Kobe was still in the gym. But that Mamba mentality he applied to the game of life as well. And I think so many young people could relate to that, because when they saw the flaws, he worked back at it, but put that same Mamba mentality into his family, which is why he was flying. But let me also say, let's recognize that our prayers do go out to not only the Bryant family and the daughter who was with them, of course, but to all who were lost in this heartbreaking tragedy. This was one of the moments, of course, when you want the world to stop, and for a moment it has. However, we do continue. And with the wonderful escape that's always provided by our friends at NFL Films, here are the shots of the year. So, folks, if we haven't gotten you just a little excited for Super Bowl 54 up until this point, this segment certainly will get it done. It's time for the Super Bowl edition of the Grab Bag, and this is all that Sugar is allowing me to do. And that's to shake the cards.
Pass that thing to Sugar. Feel pass to Sugar. Come on over here now. Don't you be like that.
How you looking
Don't
today?
be like that.
How you looking today?
No.
How you looking?
Clean.
About time.
Yeah.
You've been struggling for a
Sugar
couple
look
of weeks.
good this week. Sugar look good this week. Grab that, Sugar. The fans, they've been waiting for
so you can read them?
They've been waiting for me to come back.
Hold them way out here.
You the last person. I'm glad you got. Let's go. Who do you think Joe Montana should root for in the Super Bowl?
Ooh. Well, hey, shoot. It's got to root for the San Francisco 49ers.
Who you think?
Nobody. Players don't root for, you don't root for anybody. Just watch the game and enjoy the game.
You don't think you're going to root for nobody?
No, don't root for
You are
anybody.
some pessimist.
So you don't think Joe is going to root for nobody? I think Joe going to go for San Fran,
You
man.
think so?
Absolutely. Come on, man. He got 4 rings with him, B.
He's an icon. Of course he's got to root for him.
He got to root
Nobody. He can't do it. He can't. Next question.
You root for, B.
Nobody.
That's the point.
Is that a real debate?
What was the best Super Bowl you've ever watched?
Whew, man. Yours.
My goodness.
That's just not a good answer.
Not a good answer? No, we did that game.
That's not a good answer.
Well, I did when I was at Fox.
Boy,
I sure did.
You know what? They say keep your enemies close. I'm going to keep mine close. What's the best game you ever watched? You ain't never played one.
There was some back-to-backs with Buffalo and Washington.
Oh, okay.
I actually went to that Super Bowl.
Great job.
I went to that Super Bowl. That was the best Super Bowl because I went to it.
I don't know which one it was.
But then you guys came back and played.
Dallas. 35-31, the Jackie Smith drop.
Yeah, I'm going to say the best one for me, I think, the 97.
Oh, my goodness.
The Green Bay Packers against Denver Broncos.
Green Bay Packers, yeah, good game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
I did that.
Hey, who is the better tight end? Kelsey or Kittle?
Wow.
Here we go. Now we talking about Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what you want.
Man, just
answer the question. Don't get into
what you want. Who's
I'm
the
taking
better
Kittle
tight
because he
end?
can do both.
Yeah, I'm taking Travis Kelce.
Both meaning.
He can block. He can catch the ball. He can run great routes.
Phil?
I'm taking Travis Kelce because he can catch a short pass, so can Kittle, and take it down the field. If Travis Kelce wanted to be one of the best blockers in the NFL, he would be. But they like throwing the ball out there.
You're right, and I'm going to go with Kelce, too. Absolutely. Will Richard Sherman cover Tyreek Hill?
No, man to man, he will not. He's going to do it with help.
Hey, he'll tell you, yeah, he's going to play smart. He's going to be all.
Wisdom got to kick in right now.
Wisdom, find a way.
Find a way, Richard. What is your fondest memory of the Super Bowl, Brandon?
Why would you do that, Ray?
You know what? It's
I'm
not
sorry,
about the
bro.
Super. But you know what? Here's the reality. Not everyone makes it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. Every year, my mentality was, I'm going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that approach was everything to me. So it was just every year having an opportunity to make it to a Super Bowl.
You know what? You didn't go to the Super Bowl, but you were the MVP of the Pro Bowl one.
Oh, stop it.
There you are. Look at you.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon.
Look at that.
Look at that young Brandon with a haircut. What happened to your haircut?
Hey, let me tell you something. I had 17 quarterbacks. What you guys want from me, right? 13 years, 6 Pro Bowls.
Wait, who's
right?
I can't
We
do
want
that.
me to keep
Now we
going?
got
Do you
enough
want me to
right.
keep going?
Okay, listen. Last one.
All right, last one.
How is Phil Simms eliminated from the pick segment?
Oh, boy.
Just bad.
I got to hear this. Because I want the world to know this man in here before the lights come on, right? Before any producer comes in here. So I need to know how you lost to me and Brandon in the pick segment.
It is a miracle.
Like next week with that pull-up ball.
Hey, listen.
Let's get into this pull-up
Wait, hold
ball.
on. The whole thing is, listen, how many trophies can I win?
How many trophies
Mike
can I
Paul's
win?
in
Listen to this guy.
With that in mind, we go to the picks. The guys, Ray has said that Phil's irrelevant, but we know he isn't.
Look,
these two are tied. Take a look at this.
All right, here we go.
Brandon, look at that.
Okay,
Ray, how did it go?
Of course, Pete Radovich helped you out. It shouldn't even be a competition. It should be a bye
Sims
week.
is going to pick first because Steven Espinoza said it could get worse for him. So let's find out. So who you? 1 point, Brandon.
Did he say that to you in your
Steven, no. He said that in our production meeting.
Oh, did he? Wow.
Go ahead.
I mean, man.
Who you picking?
Who you want, Phil?
Chiefs are a 1-point favorite.
I don't know. I'm kind of upset that Steven said that.
Yeah.
You
Steven
should be upset
Espinoza's
that
the
you out of
boss.
the pick
Go ahead.
segment, but go ahead, Phil.
Go ahead.
I'm taking San Francisco.
We're going to go with San Francisco.
34-21.
All right. So between the two guys,
What? Did I stutter?
Wow.
34-21.
Wow.
Here it goes. Brandon and Ray are tied going into this. So what we've done, Brandon and Ray have 2 cards in front of them, the logo of each team. There you go. The logo of each team. So on my count, these 2 guys will pick up the card with the logo that they think of the team that will win the Super Bowl. In 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Oh, so they both picked Kansas City. So here's the tiebreaker now. Again, we said that Kansas City is a 1-point favorite. So now what you guys have to do is you got to pick the total points that you think will be scored in this game. You've got the magic marker. You've got a blank card. Write down what you think the total point number will be in this game.
I done wrote mine.
This is getting too fancy.
I done wrote mine.
You wrote yours down already?
Yes.
Brandon's going to write his down. In
Phil,
3,
get it from over my shoulder.
2,
I
1. All right, now show it. Here we go.
Ray's got 45.
He's got 45.
24.
Brandon's got 56.
No, total.
24-21.
All right. Wow, so 45.
All right, we got it. One that's closest.
Hey, but you know what? We've been talking all season long, and
here
people
we
just don't
go.
understand how driven Phil Simms is. But everybody's been asking around the country, all the NFL players, coaches, and executives, because he's been challenged to do 20 pull-ups.
In the airports, too, JB.
In the airports.
People stop
everywhere.
So should we do
tell
it
him to
next
get a
week?
life, you know.
Should we do it next week?
With the shirt off.
With the shirt off on.
Well,
Okay, that makes a difference.
Listen, if I do it with my shirt off, Brandon said he will give me $10,000.
It's there.
So I said to my wife, should I do it with my shirt off? And she said, absolutely.
So there you have it.
There you go.
That will be next week.
I'm not saying that.
That's
We'll
it
see.
for us. Our thanks to all of you for watching. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. We'll see you next week on the season finale of Showtime's Inside the NFL. I know, Jack tricked them. They were waiting. They were waiting. Ray was like, it is all good. Did your wife tell you to take your shirt off for real?
Absolutely.
But check this out. When you bet
take your shirt off?
$10,000.